Battlefield 5 has not been great success for Electronic Arts. The game underperformed and cannot seem to get its feet off the ground. The game launched in an incomplete state, something EA calls games as a service. More objective critics call this launching an unfinished product. The promised Battle Royale mode is still on the horizon, a project which's inclusion is baffling since they are fighting against their own games now, as EA just released the wildly popular Apex Legends as a free-to-play Battle Royale. And Apex Legends seems to fulfill many of the parameters set for the Battlefield 5 Battle Royale mode, mainly squad-based Battle Royale. The only major difference apart from the setting will probably be the addition of vehicles in Battlefield 5. But until that is released, DICE tries to keep the players entertained with the new co-op mode for Battlefield 5, playable with up to 4 players. We gave it a shot and I can, without a doubt, wholeheartedly say this will utterly fail to attract new players to the game and will not boost the sales in any way. A well-made co-op game mode with diverse and challenging missions could have raised the game's profile by a mile. This edition does the opposite. It is more of a joke and once again proves that games as a service is something to be avoided. We are being presented with 8 missions taking place on 4 multiplayer maps. In these 8 missions, we are being presented with 4 different objectives. Capture 3 documents, kill 3 officers, destroy 3 guns, or kill a set number of German troops. And anyone who can count must have noticed something. There's some repetition in this. Oh, and by the way, taking out the artillery guns, you definitely do not have to kill a crew, because these hyper-modern German wonders of technology fire automatically. The fact that all the maps are taken straight from the multiplayer is a bit of a bummer, since many of the locations created for the single player would have been fun to play as a team. The ski level, for example, I like that a lot. Imagine taking on Soviet troops as a team of Finnish snipers moving like ghosts through the snow-covered forests of Finland. Well, that would mean putting in the Soviets and creating new models and everything. I guess you can't have that in a World War II shooter, that would be too much work. By the way, where are the Italians in this game? Where are the Hungarian troops? They pride themselves so much on showing the unknown sides of World War II. Why not explore some of the fighting in China then? Chinese nationalists versus the Japanese army. Or how about some more unique stories for the co-op missions, like a prison break from a POW camp? But I guess amazing narrative-driven storytelling was preserved for the single player. Because none of the co-op missions of the Combined Arms mode touch on real stories that history wrote. But even with the generic stories, more could have been possible. But more on that later. The game takes us to maps like Arras and Rotterdam. But unlike in regular multiplayer matches, the movement is rather restricted by artificially shrinking the map size. So if you thought you could use new and improved tactics, try a new approach, try to attack from another side after your first attempt failed, then you will be disappointed. Taking away the player's ability to outflank the opposition forces is pretty indicative of how fast this mode was slapped together. In some missions they even forgot to take out the multiplayer reinforcement options. In one of the co-op scenarios, you can spend your gathered points on rewards you cannot collect. We were surprised to see the ability to order a Sturmtiger in a co-op match, so said, okay, let's try it. Only to find out it was something they forgot to take out. You can spend your points on it, but you have no chance to actually use this silly big gun. The great Sturmmörser. But back to the maps. The reliance on restricted multiplayer maps for this game mode is a huge step backwards from what we were presented in the single-player campaign. There we did encounter vast open areas with objectives you could freely engage. You have to destroy these fuel dumps. Okay, just light them on fire. Or just go ahead and steal a German Stuka plane and then strafe the fuel dump. Your choice. This would have been fun with friends, but exploring new and creative ways to kill your enemies was not planned for you. You just run from one objective to the other and spray down enemies. Every mission ends the same way, with a timer running down until you are being extracted from the map. This last battle pits you against ever-increasing amounts of German troops. This last stand has so far been the toughest nut to crack and been a real challenge on hard difficulty. But so far I only played these missions with 2 players, so I imagine if you play them with 3 or 4 players, it becomes all the more easy. Speaking about difficulty, the AI used for these missions is not necessarily dangerous. Except for the German Panzers. Their AI matches the fearsome reputation they have. You can easily take them out from the high ground, get into a comfortable position and bait them all to run up to you. They will blindly march into machine gun fire. And even the tanks, that are supposed to be somewhat of a challenge, are easy to outmaneuver once you understand how they work. And you can just generally have a lot of fun with them. Honestly, the co-op missions were fun, but not in the way DICE intended them to be played. We just ended up trying to flip over tanks, because the hyper-realistic AI just behaves like any real tank crew would.
Oh. Immer mitfolgen. Jetzt geht er kaputt, jetzt geht er kaputt. Komm, put. Jetzt. Oh. Ja. Was ist denn hoch? Jetzt. Oh. Jetzt aber. Nein! Oh, jetzt aber.
The tank of course follows set waypoints, and then engages you as soon as you come in range, and then follows you no matter what is in their way. And this makes for great entertainment. Overall, there's nothing much to say about the co-op missions. The gameplay is basically the same, and it's just a little addition. For a big feature that was praised during the announcement, this is a disappointment. I was actually looking forward to it, because the core gameplay of Battlefield is still great and fun to me. But as it turns out, this is just once again so much wasted potential. Let us talk about what the co-op missions could have been, and what I was hoping for. If they had actually committed to building something great instead of just cobbling together some content, this would have been amazing. The first thing that came to our mind were co-op vehicle missions. 2 friends in a fighter plane, or each one in their own, attacking American bomber formations over Germany, just like in the campaign intro. It could have been so fucking thrilling. Or imagine RAF pilots trying to shoot down V1 rockets on their way to London. Everything that would be needed for this is already in the game, so why not just put it together? How about co-op tank missions? Everyone in a different vehicle and you outmaneuver big formations. Sounds cool? How about 2 guys operate a tank together? 1 driver, 1 gunner. But I don't want to be just a driver, that's boring. Okay, how about this? You and your buddy form a British tank crew, fighting the Germans and Italians in Northern Africa in your M3 Grand. The driver takes control of the 75mm gun in the hull and the machine gun ports in the bottom. I know they were welded shut in later models and could not be moved but up and down, but hey, let's take some liberty here. The German half-truck fires a machine gun out of a vision slit, for crying out loud, so we can have that, okay? So the driver is armed with a 75mm gun and machine guns, and is ready to have some fun. The other player takes control of the turret on top, armed with a lighter gun and a coaxial machine gun. The second player can swing the turret around and fight independently from the main gun. This is a killing machine and I guess great fun in a co-op gameplay. Imagine crewing this tank with a friend and fighting Panzer IIIs in African deserts. Would be great, wouldn't it? But let's not forget about the infantry. How about sneaking past German patrols in deep snow during a secret mission while the Battle of the Bulge is raging across the Andean forests? They developed fun skiing mechanics, but barely used them. What I just want to say is, these co-op battles could have been so much more. Well done, they could have been an actual selling point for the game, unlike the thing we ultimately got. I will probably not touch them again because they're just uninspired. It is shovelware. Even the intro sequences are lazily done and they are being used several times for the same map. And adding to that, they are too short for the mission briefing. The guy talks on while you're already in the selection screen. A screen that you will see way too often, because after every mission the game resets your loadout to the default and you have to re-pick it every time.
You need to eliminate every last one of them. No survivors. Now, you have a job to do, and your king and country thank you for your service and for your bravery. Godspeed, soldiers, and good luck.
So yeah, an amazing addition to Battlefield. The absolute pinnacle of DICE's creativity. I bet someone at DICE drew up amazing ideas for co-op gameplay, but it was decided that it would have been too expensive for a product that presumably has already been written off in regards to new content. This amazing live service will be kept on live support, with the bare minimum until the next Battlefield comes around, and then will be thrown away. We will see the Battle Royale game mode give it a little boost, but the high entrance fee will probably keep it from being a total breakthrough like Apex Legends has been. Do you guys have an opinion on this? Do you have ideas for fun co-op scenarios? Post them in the comment section down below. I am as always interested in reading your opinions. At this point, a special thanks to our supporters on Patreon, who of course got to see this video first. So, I hope this video saved you from making a mistake and wasting your time on the lackluster co-op gameplay. See you guys next time. Till then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.